The fox who saw beyond the reward. What if the opportunity you have been waiting for, the one that looks perfect, effortless, and rewarding, is actually the very thing designed to trap you? What if the difference between success and the survival is not how fast you act, but how carefully you pause? This is not just a story about a fox in the forest. This is a story about how the world works and why the wisest mind don't chase rewards. They examine them. The forest was unusually quiet that morning, as if it were holding its breath. Sunlight slipped gently through the dense canopy, falling in scattered patches across the ground, illuminating dry leaves that had settled after days of wind. There was no sound of birds arguing, no rustle of hurried footsteps, no distant calls of predators or prey, just stillness. A kind of stillness that didn't feel natural but deliberate. Through the silence walked a fox, not in a rush, not distracted, not careless. Every step it took was measured, almost as if it was listening to something beneath the surface of the world. Its ears twitched at the faintest shifts. Its eyes scanned not just what was visible, but what might be hidden. Then it caught something, a scent. Fresh meat, rich, strong, and impossible to ignore. For most animals in the forest, that smell alone would have been enough. Hunger would have taken over. Instinct would have pushed them forward. Thought would have been replaced by urgency. But the fox did not move toward it immediately. It stopped. Not because it was not interested, but because it was. That difference mattered. The fox tilted its head slightly, letting the scent settle in its mind. Fresh meat. In the middle of a quiet forest, no signs of struggle, no competing scavengers, no predators guarding their kill. Something about it didn't align, and in that moment, the fox chose not to act, but to observe. It moved slowly, circling the area instead of approaching directly. Each step was deliberate, creating distance rather than closing it. The leaves beneath its paws made soft sounds, but nothing else in the forest responded. That silence, it was not empty. It felt constricted. As it came closer, the fox noticed the arrangement. The dry leaves were not scattered randomly. They were placed, too evenly spread, too carefully laid. Nature rarely arranges things perfectly, and when it does, it doesn't hide them. This was hiding something. The fox's curiosity sharpened, but it didn't give in to the temptation. It leaned forward slightly. Not enough to step in, just enough to study. And then it saw it, not clearly, not fully, but just enough. A slight unnatural tension beneath the leaves, a pattern that didn't belong, a structure waiting to move, a trap, quiet, covered, patient, waiting for the one thing most creatures would bring without hesitation, their own carelessness. The fox didn't react dramatically. It didn't jump back. It didn't panic. Instead, it stepped back slowly and looked around, because the trap itself was only part of the story. Who set it? When? Why here? Why now? The fox understood something most others didn't. Traps are built for the foolish. They are built for the predictable. And predictability is the easiest thing to exploit. After a few moments, the fox picked up a thin, dry branch lying nearby. It held it gently between its teeth, walked to the side of the covered leaves, not toward the center, and stretched its neck just enough to reach the edge of the meat. Careful, calculator, detached. With a slow movement, it hooked the meat and began pulling it sideways. For a brief second, nothing happened. Then, snap. The trap slammed shut violently, the sound breaking the silence that had held the forest captive. Leaves scattered. The ground shifted. The hidden mechanism revealed itself for what it truly was. But the fox was already outside its reach. The branch dropped. The meat rolled free, and the fox simply took it. No rush, no excitement, no celebration, just quiet understanding. It turned, walked away, and disappeared back into the forest, leaving behind not just a sprung trap, but a lesson that most would never see, because many would arrive later, see the triggered trap, and think, I was lucky I didn't step there. But they would miss the truth. Luck had nothing to do with it. The fox didn't survive because it avoided the trap. It survived because it questioned the reward. Your wise mind does not focus only on what is being offered. It focuses on what is being hidden. The careless see opportunity. The wise see context. The careless react. The wise evaluate. And sometimes the difference between losing everything and walking away safely is simply the ability to pause before you act. In real life, traps rarely look like traps. They look like opportunities. They come in the form of an offer that feels too good to question. A shortcut that promises fast success. A situation where everything seems perfectly aligned, too perfectly. And that's exactly why people fall for them. Because when something feels rewarding enough, the mind stops asking questions. We rush decisions. We skip verification. We trust appearances. But reality does not punish ignorance. It exposes it. The fox teaches a simple but powerful principle. When something attracts you strongly, that's exactly when you should slow down the most. Not everything valuable is dangerous, but everything dangerous is made to look valuable. In business, this lesson becomes even more critical. Bad deals don't announce themselves as bad deals. Risk doesn't show up wearing a warning sign. Instead, it hides behind high returns with low effort, partnerships that move too quickly, opportunities that pressure you to decide immediately. A smart business mind operates like a fox. It asks, what's the catch? What am I not seeing? Why is this opportunity available to me? Great decision makers don't avoid risk. They understand it. They test before they trust. They verify before they commit. They create distance before they engage. And most importantly, they never let excitement replace analysis. Because in business, just like in the forest, the biggest losses don't come from what you don't see. They come from what you don't question. So the next time something looks like a perfect opportunity, don't rush toward it. Pause. Observe. Think. Ask yourself what lies beneath the surface. Because the goal is not just to win, but to win without getting trapped. If this story made you think differently, if it made you pause and look at the world with sharper awareness, then this is exactly the kind of content you don't want to miss. Subscribe the channel because here we don't just tell stories, we decode them. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and stay tuned because the next story might just change the way you see your own decisions.